What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I am your host, Zach Axe, bringing you my full ranking and review of the 2025 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Now, this was definitely a show that had me very intrigued and pretty excited for a couple of different matches. We ended up getting 5 matches. I'd say all the matches on the card were actually very good. Well, 4 of them were. One of them kind of destined to fail, and we'll get into that here in a second. So coming in at number 5 is the match that was kind of destined to fail, and that is Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion, taking on Octagon Jr. for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, why I say this match was, always determined to fail, destined to fail, I mean, is easily because it was announced the same day. It was the same day on the Worlds Collide show. They announced it. They had 0 build, had maybe 2 hours of build. There's been times in the past where WWE has announced a match for the same night or on the night of, and the matches have still been pretty good. But this one, they didn't give any time. It felt like it was really just there, so they had 5 matches on the card. And at the end of the day, Dominic it's like a blink and you miss it. Dominic came out, Dominic won, and that was really all there was to it. There was no introducing of Octagon Jr. to the wider audience that maybe didn't watch Worlds Collide and could now see him in Money in the Bank. He just got pretty much squashed. It was like a 5-second match. There was a suicide dive, and then you blink and it's over. So kind of by default, this had to come in at number 5. Now the 4 after this, though, is kind of where it gets tough for me to rank, because I thought all 4 matches after this were pretty good. And it was, like I said, very hard to rank them, so if you don't like my ranking, I'm sorry. But at number 4, I am going to go ahead and give it to the women's ladder match. Now this match, I will admit, I take an L on, because I thought this match was going to be amazing. And it was still pretty good. I see a lot of people, and I think like it's getting into my head where I saw a lot of people saying this match wasn't great or whatever. I thought this match had some amazing spots. I just don't think it lived up to the names of the women in the match. I think this match would have been perfectly, sufficeable. Sufficeable? Is that a word? Do I do this every video? Sufficeable? That's gotta be a word. The match was perfectly serviceable if it was a match between non-made names. But when you have the names that you had in that match, I feel like it should have been a lot better. But we definitely did have some crazy good spots in this match. We had an amazing Razor's Edge counter by Roxanne. We had Alexa Bliss doing kind of a little barrel roll onto 2 other women that were laying on a ladder. We had the Devil's Kiss to Rhea Ripley on the ladder. That was great. We had the double pop rocks from Alexa Bliss and from Roxanne Perez on the middle ladder, and then the supporting ladders, and they both hit the move at the same time. And then Alexa Bliss also did her finisher at the same time as Rhea Ripley, so it seemed like Alexa Bliss this whole time was like just trying to hit moves at the same time as other people. But overall, I thought this match had some really good spots. I think the spots is definitely what carries it, because there was a lot of clunkiness, a lot of kind of missed opportunity at different spots. The ladder messed up a lot for them, especially for Roxanne and Julia. I felt they were having a lot of trouble getting the ladders to work how they wanted it to, and I think that definitely hurt them in the end. Like when they tried to slam the ladder on Rhea, they could not get it to fall down, and then it took like 3 attempts, and then they finally got it. Trying to set the ladder down, it didn't fall. Trying to bring the ladder down onto, was it Rhea still right there? I can't remember right now, but they tried to bring the ladder down and it just bounced off the ropes and looked silly. So there's definitely a lot of mess ups in this match. I think because of the star power in this match, I think it should have been better, but this match was still pretty good. I know I've said a lot of negatives, but this match had some great moments, and it was still a pretty good sufficeable match. And I think that the right person at the end of the day won, which actually who I predicted Naomi to win the match, and she did win. So that's 1-0 me. I didn't predict the Dominic Mysterio match because I was at work during Worlds Collide. I had to go back and watch it, so I didn't get a chance to actually predict it. It's not even in the video, not in the comments. I would have picked Dominic, though. We all know that. By the end of the day, like I said, this match was don't say sufficeable again. This match was still pretty good. It was still very entertaining. I think all the women looked pretty good in the match, and I think the correct woman won. Now coming in at number 3, this one and the women's ladder match was kind of a toss-up. I couldn't decide what I wanted to put at number 4 and 3, but I ended up going with the tag team match here between Logan Paul and John Cena taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Now this match I thought was going to be terrible as it started. It started very slow, and we kind of had the generic tag team stuff at first with they're isolating the good guy in the corner, frequent tags. And then we finally got the Cody Rhodes tag in, and oh my god, dude, Cody Rhodes' comeback was absolutely amazing. He was coming out and he looked sharp as hell. The only real misstep I saw in that whole sequence, I think it was right there, is when Cody went for the Cody Cutter and Cena was on the wrong side. He still hit it and he still looked great, but overall that whole comeback sequence was amazing. And then we had some big moments continuing the match. One of my favorite moments of the night is Logan Paul getting superplexed while holding a camera. So you actually got to see. There's an airplane going by right now. I'm gonna start putting the guys up here that are actually featured in the video. What was I talking about? Oh, and then so we had the crazy spot with the superplex. He's holding the camera and he gets superplexed, and you get to see from his perspective him getting superplexed. Then he gets Uso splashed immediately after. That was a very fun spot, one of the best moments of the night. We also had, while they're fighting on the outside, a spear by Jey Uso on the announce table, followed up by a moonsault through the table from Logan Paul. That was absolutely insane that he could pull that off, which, I mean, we knew Logan Paul could pull that off, but still seeing it is absolutely awesome. And then you had kind of the big moment of the match when we had the return of R-Truth. If you want to say, or Ron Killings, if you want to say this was a work, say it, but it wasn't. R-Truth got released, he got fired, and they only brought him back because the crowd would not shut up and their signs would not come down, and they only brought him back, but that's a whole other topic. They only brought him back because of the fans. But R-Truth comes out to cost John Cena the match, and I'm hoping this leads into Ron Killings, versus John Cena. And I think they might have kind of shot themselves in the foot now. If you remember back when Roman Reigns was the champion, we had Cody Rhodes coming after Roman Reigns left, right, and center, and everyone wanted Cody to dethrone Roman. But then they got a more interesting option in Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn had just broken away from the bloodline, and then we saw all the attention go from Cody and go to Sami, because now everyone wants Sami to win instead of Cody. And we might have that again if they're trying to push Cody to be the one to defeat John Cena and to save professional wrestling and, all that good stuff, because now we have a more compelling and interesting option in Ron Killings / R-Truth. So I think they might have shot themselves in the foot with this one. But in the end, Cody and Jey pick up the win. Not what I predicted. I predicted Cena and Logan to win this match, and they did not. And Cena actually ate the pin. So obviously we have Cena set up for like 3 matches now, especially because what I forgot to mention, is that Cena and Logan started fighting during the match. They started fighting about, who's supposed to be in. Cena's like, I'll teach you a couple things. Logan's like, I'll teach you a couple things. And they started fighting, and that led into Cody's comeback, which I was talking about earlier. And so we have like 3 different ways Cena can branch off from this match, and I think that's more of what it was here for, was to branch off. And this didn't do what I thought it was going to do, which was going to just beat down Jey Uso heading into his match against Gunther on Raw. Jey Uso didn't take much punishment in this match, to be honest. It was more of just like a typical tag team match. So maybe we're not setting up Jey to lose. And all I know right now is that Cody and Jey Uso pick up the win over them, and I had to put this match at number 3. I think overall it was more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. Let's say on any given night where you don't have a stipulation match or stipulation matches on the card, that the match I'm about to say at number 2 would easily be number 1. But it's on a night that we have a fun match, a fun stipulation match. So at number 2, I do have Lyra Valkyria, the Intercontinental Women's Champion, taking on Becky Lynch for that championship. Now this match was absolutely great. I think this match eclipses their match at Backlash, and their match at Backlash was already pretty good. And I think they just eclipsed it with this match. And the chemistry these 2 women have, which I know they should have chemistry because, they have the whole storyline. They came up together, and Becky's the reason Lyra's there and whatnot. But these 2 women's chemistry is honestly I would say some of the best chemistry we've seen between two women in a long time. I can't tell you the last like rivalry that we've had between two women where it was kind of like there was this much chemistry and this much excitement for it. And at the end of the day, because this feud has been absolutely amazing, and they just, if this isn't their last match, then I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But if this is their last match, they just put a hell of an ending to this feud, which I don't think it will be. I think we still have more ground to cover with these two, especially now that Becky took the title off of Lyra. But let's get into the actual match. We had some crazy spots. I just want to kind of get this one out of the way early, and that is Lyra's freaking top. Dude, that thing sells harder than Dolph Ziggler. That thing came out just like the little wraparound that she has up here. If you remember at the Royal Rumble, when she entered the Royal Rumble, she came in and it immediately whoop down, and she had to constantly try to mess with it, hold it, and to start the match she had that same problem. Luckily we had the little rest spot with Becky getting thrown out of the ring early, so Jessica Carr, I believe was the referee, could help get that thing tightened. I think it was Jessica Carr, I don't really remember. Had a great DDT sell from Lyra. Becky hit a DDT and Lyra sold that thing with her entire heart. It was absolutely like shades of Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels and Ricochet with how good that sell was. Lyra's honestly a very underrated seller. She is great at selling maneuvers. We had an avalanche manhandle slam, which if you've watched my other videos, you know I absolutely hate this move. It's like the rock bottom or a uranagi with none of the force of a rock bottom or uranagi, and she was using it as a finisher at one point. And I'm glad she's not using it as a finisher anymore, because she hit one off the freaking top rope that didn't even get her the win. And it was still, making it off the top rope makes it look a lot more effective than when it's just a in the ring maneuver, because it sucks as a maneuver overall. We had a great guillotine leg drop from Lyra Valkyrie on the barricade. That move was absolutely great, like shades of The Undertaker with that move. And these two, like I said, they mesh so well together that this could go down as maybe one of the best women's rivalries in history if we continue to see matches like this. But then we end the match with an illegal tight roll up, which is kind of symbolic because in the match at Backlash we had Lyra beating Becky with a roll up, and then the match here we have Becky beating Lyra with a roll up, which I think is kind of perfect because it makes neither of these women look weak. They both look very strong because the only way that they were able to defeat one another was with a roll up. And don't even get me started on the fact that grabbing tights in WWE is illegal. That's absolutely stupid, because if Cody Rhodes can wear a mask to the ring, take it off and use it as a weapon and not get disqualified because it's a part of his gear, then why is grabbing the tights, which is obviously a part of the gear, illegal? It doesn't make any sense, and Michael Cole is selling it on commentary. I just absolutely hate that rule. That rule makes zero sense. But overall, this was a great match from two great performers, and if we continue this rivalry, I'm here for it. I'm excited for the threequel. I absolutely love these two women, and they're putting on absolute cinema in the ring. And like I said, any other day, this would be number one, but in a world where we have the Money in the Bank briefcase on the same show and a fun stipulation match with six guys, it just couldn't beat it. And that does lead into number one, which I am going to give to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match between El Grande Americano, Andrade, Penta, Seth Rollins, LA Knight. I almost had it. Who am I missing? Solo Sikoa. Now, if you look at my notebook here, I was taking notes throughout the whole show. This match has so many notes. It's going to be kind of hard to go through everything, so if you see me looking down a lot, it's because I'm going to read the notes. Let's just start with the huge LA Knight pop. LA Knight got a huge pop, and I couldn't even imagine what it would have been like if he would have won, but he had an amazing pop. Early in the match, we had a great moment where it's not like on purposeful great moment, but El Grande Americano was smacking everybody with ladders, and he smacked Andrade with a ladder. He drops the ladder, and it lands right on Andrade's nuts. That was nuts. That was absolutely hilarious. I bursted out laughing. I haven't laughed that hard at a WWE show in a long time, and when he dropped that freaking ladder right on Andrade's crotch, I bursted out. That was genuinely hilarious. And then Pat McAfee's line on commentary where he says he hit Andrade in the Andrade. That was kind of funny too. We had El Grande Americano actually pulling out some pretty unique offense. He had kind of like a razor's edge DDT onto a ladder during the match. That was absolutely a great moment. We had a Mexican Destroyer on the ladder bridge, which is a spot that I predicted when this match was first about to start. I was like, we're definitely going to see that sometime in this match. And we did. We ended up seeing it. I was hoping more for a package pile driver on the ladder, because I think with the holes in the ladder, it'd be a lot easier to hit that move on the ladder. But we still got to see a pile driver on the ladder from Penta, and that alone was amazing. And then we have a spot with the sponsored Fireball ladder, where El Grande Americano puts it on his head and he starts spinning with it. And these spots happen pretty much every single Money in the Bank or every single ladder match where there's multiple men. You see somebody put it on their head, start spinning, and everybody's gonna run into them. And I absolutely hate these spots. It's funny at first, and it makes sense at first when you hit the first 3 guys that aren't expecting it, but then when they're getting back up to get hit by it again, or this guy that's been watching this happen the entire time just walks into it, it just kind of kills the mood for me with that move. We also had Solo Sikoa showing what he's made of, and I guess I don't know ball. I don't understand Solo Sikoa's how funny he was in the ring. Like, I know he's got to actually flourish on the mic and show what he's made of recently, especially with his promo with Seth Rollins and his whole group. But Solo was absolutely the comedic highlight of this match. He had some absolutely funny, hilarious moments, like when he was mocking LA Knight and, you know, throwing up the whatever, and he's like mocking LA Knight, and he's, you know, after they take out Seth Rollins early, he's like acting like he's all cool with everybody. And Solo Sikoa actually absolutely was hilarious in this match, and I think Solo Sikoa slowly might become one of my favorites now, because I already didn't mind him in the ring. I thought he was a decent wrestler in the ring, but he's letting his character shine, and this like funny heel kind of like Jimmy Uso-esque character is absolutely working for me. I wrote down Gable Penta spot. What does that even mean? Gable Penta spot. They had a lot of spots. What did they do? I don't remember. We had a very awkward moment almost where I can't remember who's on the ladder. My brain's not working right now. I'm recording this at 2 in the morning, but somebody was climbing up the ladder, and we saw LA Knight slingshot El Grande Americano, the weakest slingshot you'll ever see, onto the ladder so El Grande could jump on the ladder, jump on the different ladder, land on the ladder, climb up and stop him. That was a pretty good moment. It's just, I think the slingshot was kind of weak. If it was a little bit better of a slingshot, it would have been an even better moment. And if the guy climbing the ladder wasn't already touching the briefcase by the time he actually got to it, it might have been Seth. I don't remember. I should have rewatched it right before this video. I just watched it last night. I mean, then we lead into a back body drop off the ladder by LA Knight. That move was absolutely insane. And I know I keep saying insane a lot, but it's hard to think of a bunch of different adjectives for this carnage of a match. But we had a back body drop off the top of the ladder, and when it comes to like off the top of the ladder moves, that's just kind of, you know, a regular one. But the spin that he had on it made it look like it hurt so much worse. And then we get into the interference part of the match, where we have the Bloodline and Seth Rollins' group. I really wish they would just have a collective name. Can we call them like the Vision or something? Can they just have a name so we can be done with calling them Seth Rollins' group? But they all come out and do the spear that Braun Breaker immediately hits on El Grande. Absolutely painful. Like, I think that might eclipse the Carlito spears that he's been hitting. He came out and he full force, freaking the flip and everything just absolutely landed perfectly. And then we had a spear through the barricade to take out another competitor. And then we kind of, what did Bronson Reed even do? He's even there. And Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami on Penta. And then, of course, we had the Bloodline coming out to stop Seth Rollins' group, which, after what happened on SmackDown with Solo Sikoa talking trash about Jacob Fatu, we could all see this coming from a mile away. But then we had Solo Sikoa kind of cleaning house, making sure everybody's down for Solo Sikoa to win the briefcase. Puts him on the ladder, grabs him, and then, I hate you, Solo. I don't know why. I thought he said Solo, but people are saying he didn't say Solo. I thought he did, but apparently he didn't. So he said, I hate you, pulls him down, super kick, and we have so many, same thing with like the tag team match where I said we have so many different ways for Cena to go. This match built up like 3 different feuds right now coming out of this match that we're going to get. And Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa is probably the most entertaining one that I'm the most excited for, because now we have babyface Jacob Fatu completely out of the Bloodline, turned on Solo Sikoa, and I'm really excited to see where that goes. And we also followed that up with a Uranagi through the ladder by Fatu onto Solo. And it's weird because, like, I feel like the biggest moments in this match really came from the guys that weren't even in the match. You know, Fatu, Breaker, Braun, and did JC Mateo even come out? I don't remember if he even did anything. But the biggest moments came from all the guys that weren't even really in the match. And then after all that carnage, Jacob Fatu leaves, and that leaves the clear and obvious winner being Seth Rollins climbing up. And they did it to us for the third year in a row. They brought LA Knight into the ring. It looks like LA Knight's going to stop him, and he's going to, you know, LA Knight's going to finally have his year, and LA Knight is, for the third year in a row, not going to get screwed over by a heel. 2023, climb up the ladder, choke slammed off by Damian Priest. 2024, we had the same spot where it looked like LA Knight was going to win, and Drew McIntyre wins instead. And now this year, LA Knight is the final piece standing in Seth Rollins' way. He comes out, almost hits a BFT. It looks like he has a chance to stop Rollins from capturing this briefcase and going on to try to help save professional wrestling, but it didn't happen. LA Knight gets taken out, and Seth Rollins is your winner. Now, this is a drum that everybody's going to beat till it's dead, and that is Seth Rollins did not need this. Seth Rollins' faction is already the main event of Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins is a bona fide main event Hall of Famer. He did not need this briefcase, and I'm just kind of hammering it a little bit more because Seth Rollins is by far one of my favorites in WWE today, but I do not think he needed this. I think LA Knight definitely needed it more, and LA Knight's stuck. Rollins wasn't stuck, and now we have LA Knight not being the Money in the Bank holder while we have Rollins. Oh my God! While we have Rollins being the Money in the Bank holder, which this is going to lead into pretty much what we all think is going to lead into. The only question about it now is he going to cash in on Jey Uso, which it seems like that would be the obvious answer, or is he going to cash in on the guy that he kind of is a polar opposite of right now in John Cena, because John Cena's trying to ruin professional wrestling. Seth Rollins is trying to save professional wrestling, so it only makes sense, honestly, for him to cash in on John Cena, but I'm kind of conflicted on whether or not I'd actually want him to cash in on John Cena. I could very well see him cash in tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. As soon as the Jey Uso and Gunther match is over, whether Uso wins or not, I could see Rollins cashing in. But that's for future videos. As of right now, that's all I got for you. That is my ranking of the 5 Money in the Bank matches from 2025. If you have different opinion than me, that's fine. That's why it's called an opinion. Leave it in the comments for me. And go ahead and like the video and subscribe while you're already down there. I appreciate it. If you want to be notified whenever I drop a video like this, go ahead and hit that bell icon. I'm sorry if the energy wasn't really there as much for this video because, like I said, it is currently 2 in the morning. But I'm going to try to get this video out for you guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Peace.
This happened if I had real tough love, I'm bad at this, and I'm bad for this.
Narcissistic tendencies, I don't care about no one else. Narcissistic tendencies, I'm low, so set me on the shelf. Few people ever have my back, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
Like 21 minutes, I bet. 28?